In today's show, living with racism. Eddie Betts and Wayne Miller speak out.
David Mackay's message to the youngsters, catch me if you can.
And Captain's Call, Bix has his say on how the dual role is playing out.
Hi everyone and welcome to The Crows Show, brought to you by Optus. I'm Mark Bickley.
And I'm Alana Smith. And Mark, across the AFL, the next week will be a celebration of the wonderful contribution Indigenous players make to our great game.
Yes, it will be. We marvel at their extraordinary talents, but the scourge of racism is something they still have to deal with far too often.
On the ground, the AFL and the clubs have strict rules to try to protect Indigenous players from abuse. But on the street, the suspicion, vilification and ignorance are never far away. For example, this was how a bank responded when Wayne Miller asked for an account statement.
So do you just need it for Centrelink, or she assumed that I'd need it for Centrelink to go take it to Centrelink? So I thought that was pretty pigeonholing Aboriginal people to go that all of us are on Centrelink or all of us are dole bludgers or something like that.
And social media is a growing concern.
I did one just not long ago where a young kid commented a photo of myself when he was at the zoo, and he thought it was funny being funny with his mates, and I contacted him, I contacted the school, and we sorted it out, but we sorted it out privately.
Junior says such incidents have an immediate impact on your happiness.
Once it happens to you, it puts you in a real down sort of place. I don't know, you just feel like a lesser person, I guess, when you're vilified.
The responsibility of leadership weighs heavily on Eddie.
I try to stay strong for the younger boys, and what they don't see is that it eats away at myself, and it affects your mood, you find it hard to find motivation to go out and play footy.
And many others feel the pain.
It affected not just myself, but my family, my wife, not so much my kids because they don't really understand it because they're still too young, but more so me and my wife. It affected us a lot, even her, and she's not Indigenous as well.
The message from the whole club couldn't be stronger.
No matter the age, whether you're an 80-year-old man, you're a 12-year-old kid, what gender you are, what race you are, what religion you believe in, just treat everyone the exact same way that you want to be treated.
Let's move forward together and find a bit of a reason to help others to understand what the impact is when it happens. I'm sick to death of it, being a non-Indigenous person, so we need to stop it.
There's no doubt sport can lead the way in changing social attitudes. Now, the rapid improvement of several promising youngsters has certainly put some experienced Crows on notice. David Mackay's response this year has been outstanding, and he's rated as one of 2019's biggest risers by Champion Data. In this segment, brought to you by Revolution Roofing, the 30-year-old talks about how he cemented his spot in the best 22 running off the wing.
Mackay running onto it, and maybe finishing it off.
I just keep things pretty simple. I'm really enjoying my footy at the moment. I enjoy training. I've managed to string a really good back end of my pre-season, and haven't missed too many sessions, so I feel as good as I've ever felt physically. I feel like as I'm sort of heading towards the back end of my career, that I've just tried to keep the attitude that I've got to keep improving and keep getting better.
He's lightning here. David Mackay streaking through the middle of the Adelaide Oval. Let's race out.
I've obviously got a young family, 2 young kids, a 2.5-year-old Will and Lucy, who's just turned 1. So it keeps things really busy at home, which is a great thing. And away from footy, I probably don't think about the game too much, which I feel like has helped me in the last few years. When I do come to the club, it's work time, and it's really time to knuckle down and, as I said before, try and keep improving. That mindset, I feel like, has really helped me.
Run down, great chase and tackle by Mackay.
Some of the guys we've drafted in the last couple of years, they're young guys who got great running capacity, great skills. And I've actually really enjoyed, working with them to try and help them along their way. And it's obviously kept me on my toes, and I've had to, constantly adapt and improve my game if I want to, stay in the team. And yeah, absolutely loving playing footy and being part of this group. So, I want to do everything I can to stay a part of that.
Mackay's left foot's a good one. It's a goal. Well done.
Well, D-Mac will be a free agent at the end of the year. OK, this year the Crows decided to go with co-captains for the first time. So for 9 games now, Taylor Walker and Rory Sloane have shared responsibilities. Mark, what do you think each of them brings to the role?
Well, Taylor, of course, brings great experience. He's been doing it for a number of years now, but it's really, for me, it's the caring nature that he has. He just takes it all on, and off the field, I know the players absolutely love the work he does. And Rory Sloane, well, I think he'd be captain at most other clubs, the way he goes about his business, but for me, it's on-field. He's just someone who you want to get behind, and the way he plays just sets such a great example.
Well, can you give us an example of that on-field relationship and where it's worked?
Well, look, I guess sometimes when the game goes against you, it's not always possible to influence the game from the forward line, and Taylor Walker is often stuck down the forward line when there's a lot of stuff going on around the footy where it needs that leadership, and that's certainly what Rory brings, and the way that he goes about it is absolutely fantastic.
So do you see this concept as one for the long term?
I think it is. When you look at the amount of clubs that are doing it, it's probably just under half the clubs now have co-captains, and I think it's because of the expanding nature of off the field. So you've got sponsors, you've got demands from the AFL. So to me, it makes sense just to share the load.
Well, for the Crows, so far, so good. Thanks very much, Mark. Well, do stay with us. After the break, we'll see another side of Tex Walker and the man with the Viking looks who lit up Footy Park. Next weekend, it's Sir Doug Nicholls round, and we'll be at home on Saturday afternoon against reigning premiers West Coast. Tickets are available at ticketek.com.au. The club's latest Indigenous Guernsey, designed by Andrew McLeod, can be bought at Crowmania Westlakes or online at shop.afc.com.au. Now, Brodie Smith and Taylor Walker have played together for nearly 10 years, so there's probably not much they don't know about each other. But let's find out if Tex can still score one over Smithers in this segment, brought to you by Thomas Farms.
This week we're joined by Taylor Walker. Let's find out how much I know about the Texan.
Hello, Brody. How you going, Brody?
Good, mate. How are you?
Good. I'm going to start off by asking, do you know my mother and father's name?
No.
What about my brother? What about my brother and sister?
Anson, something like that. Looks and speaks like you. Don't know his sister's name, no.
So you know any of my family?
No. You haven't introduced me to any of them, so.
What are my dogs' names?
Boston and Billy.
Do you know anything about me? Do you know how many goals I kicked in the 2007 Premiership for the North Bulldogs?
7.
Do you know how many I kicked in the prelim the week before?
9.
A little bit less.
7.
Yeah. Would I rather chocolate or lollies?
Lollies.
No, chocolate. Would I rather packet of chips or tub of ice cream?
Looks like both.
Thanks for having me, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Well, if you were a Crows supporter in the mid-90s, you'd remember the cry "Weeeed" echo around Football Park as a young player with flowing locks dashed clear with the ball. Wayne Wiedemann had a cult following during his 6 years at Westlakes before going on to coach. With the help of Flight Centre, the man from Fish Creek in country Victoria looks back on his colourful career.
Wiedemann's by himself, he's got a paddock. Just to be a part of the concept and the inception of the Crows was a great thing to go to. Obviously my first game was pretty exciting for me too in the latter part of the years.
And his vision was all right, he gave the ball away to Wiedemann.
One of my greatest memories is beating Collingwood here to make the final 5 as it was then, and then beating Hawthorn at the MCG.
That is Darren Jarman, belted down.
Yes, it looks like the Weeeeed coming charging through, Wayne Wiedemann.
All the hysteria and the hype that when we landed back in Adelaide, that was pretty big. And lucky to go back and play in the grand final for Woodville West Tigers, which we won. So 93 was a pretty good year for me.
Up to centre wing, Wiedemann's there. I don't know that it's booing, Pete. I think it's Weeeed from all the Adelaide fans.
Crows fans were pretty parochial back then, so it didn't really matter what you did. Even when you did make a mistake, they still yelled out, they still cheered. was great knowing that you had some real support behind you. Hopefully that in that period where I played, I give them some highlights and obviously stamp something on them that they sort of remember you by a little bit as well. Coach Walkerville in Division 4 in the amateurs, been there for 3 years now. Pretty much haven't stopped. The only thing I've stopped is playing, but still coaching.
Well, Wayne finished up playing 68 games for the Crows. OK, when Mark returns, a dual international steps up to the tee with Don Pike.
Welcome back. So far this season, Don Pike's Golf Challenge has been an all-male contest. But this week, it's the turn of the Thunderbirds' Chelsea Pittman to take on the coach in a one-hole par 3 contest at Glenelg, all thanks to Optus.
Hi guys, welcome to Glenelg Golf Club. I'm joined for today's Optus one-hole challenge by Chelsea Pittman, the co-captain of the Adelaide Thunderbirds. Welcome along, Chelsea.
Thank you for having me.
And are you a golfer, first and foremost?
No, not at all.
But you have played in the past, or you've gone to the range at least?
I was more the driver for my dad when he'd play, and when no one was around, he'd let me drop a ball, and then obviously I'd duff it, and he was like, no, back to driving. So that's as far as my golfing prowess is.
Have a bit of a warm-up swing, and good luck.
Thank you.
Because something's gonna change my mind.
Right, yeah. Apart from the fact you've almost nailed the cameraman.
Oh my God, sorry. Oh yeah, see where I went wrong.
Good job. You're co-captain at the Adelaide Thunderbirds. We've gone to co-captains this year with Taylor and Rory. How are you finding that operating in the lead into the season?
I think for us it naturally had progressed to, I guess, fall to that format. I guess Layla and myself naturally are leaders within the group, and we work together in a natural sense. So I think nothing has really changed. I don't know if that's the right thing to say, but for us that's the dynamic.
One question for you. You've played for both Australia and England.
Yeah, so I won a World Cup with Australia and then won a Commonwealth Games gold with England.
How does that work?
So with Australia, when I obviously was first selected, I then fell out of favour and wasn't selected numerous years in a row, and then I took a step away from the game just because I wasn't enjoying it. Went over to England because my heritage and my dad is English. Played over there. In the end it was an easy decision. My family supported me, my friends supported me.
Right, now where did this go to? It came through here at a rate of knots, so... get up there, bounce up,
please.
Bounce up. That's a good shot. That's going to be very good. I haven't hit it.
Yeah, see, I'd be cheering if that was mine.
Oh, there it is! Well done. Nice work. Thanks for joining us today.
No, thank
All the best
you.
for the season. Hope it goes really well.
You too.
Okay, thanks, Jill.
Now, last week we caught up with the Barbecue Brigade, who have made a habit of a pre-game snag in the Adelaide Oval's Northern Car Park. Well, there's one group who have taken the tradition to a whole new level. They've converted the back of a ute into a bar and barbecue with lashings of Crows paraphernalia.
When they take the tubs off to put trays, I'll take the tray and I'll turn it into a barbecue. So straight away I'll build a trailer out of it. We have an esky on the front with 160 litres of beer on tap, because you need 160 litres for a day. It has a beautiful big Heatley barbecue, big table here as well. It fits 2 3 metre by 3 metre gazebos, as you can see inside the trailer as well. We have a gas heater for up when it gets cold tonight, and the whole trailer's wrapped in all the past and present Crows players, as you can see from the youngest with Brad, and you can see Mods down here, and Tyson, lots of photos of Eddie, and most importantly there's lots of photos of Phil Welsh and Bales as well. yeah, we've been doing this for about 15 years, I suppose, and from Amy Stadium to here, and just trying to make the most of it and enjoy the day before and after the game. Big inside and big in personality, we try to be, but we try to make the most of the whole day. It's a barbecue day when we go to the footy. You're either here 3 hours before the game, at least a couple of hours after. So from the old days when it was too hard to get out of Amy Stadium, you just stay and have a barbecue and enjoy yourself.
You've got to hand it to those guys. That is mighty impressive. Now, when the Crows and Carlton swapped future first-round draft picks last year, it was a gamble for both clubs. But right now, according to the advertisers Reece Humphrey, it looks like Adelaide is in the box seat.
There are still 13 rounds of the season to go, but Adelaide currently has one hand on the #1 draft pick for the end of the year. The controversial pick swap involving Carlton and the Crows on National Draft Night last year is starting to look very promising if you're an Adelaide supporter. Carlton was desperate to get its hands on midfielder Liam Stocker, and they did so by getting hold of Adelaide's pick 19 in the national draft. The consequences of the deal were the two clubs agreed to swap their future first-round draft selections for this year, and going into round 9, Adelaide was looking at pick 1, Carlton pick 16. If the season continues down this path, Adelaide might have a very big decision to make at the end of the year. Do they take one of the Victorian midfielders who are considered as good, if not better, than Sam Walsh, or do they use it to try and lure a big-name South Australian home? Stay tuned.
Thanks, Reece. Normally, Luke Brown is happy to let his football do the talking, but this week he found time to have a chat. That's next on The Crows Show.
Reliable defender Luke Brown hails from one of Australia's oldest clubs, Tea Tree Gully. After transferring to Norwood and strong performances in the Sandful, he was recruited briefly by GWS, but then traded to the Crows in 2011. Thanks to Toyota Good for Footy, we caught up with one of the game's quiet achievers.
Miles away to the 50, and he can pace inside. Can he get away from Brown? No, he couldn't.
So I started Tea Tree Gully probably when I was about 5 years old. Just built up through those grades, played a lot of footy, junior footy there, and then was lucky enough to go through the development squads at Norwood, under 13s, 14s and 15s. Got invited to under 17 Norwood squad when I was 16. Went from there, and then that sort of changed to the under 18 comp the year after, so I played 2 years under 18 Norwood as well, while also playing at Tea Tree Gully at the same time, a bit of both, and I was able to play in a grand final, Tea Tree Gully and under 18s.
Beautifully done by Brown.
From there, I didn't get picked up my first draft year, so I went and played league footy at Norwood, which was really good under Nathan Bassett, who helped me quite a lot in my career. I still have great memories of that year. I think we only lost 2 games for the whole year, so we were really consistent, and I think it was just the confidence that Bass brought to the group, built me up for a good start to my AFL career.
Well, the Toyota Good for Footy program aims to raise $1 million this year for grassroots clubs right across Australia. So make sure your local club registers their interest at the website toyota.com.au/AFL raffle. And Toyota also rewards our Crow in the Crowd each week. And this season, our cameras are fan spotting on Adelaide Oval's Southern Plaza. Looking, why don't we settle on you? If you recognise yourself, contact the club by 5 p.m. on Wednesday, have some photo ID to show, and a merchandise pack will be yours.
That's about all we have time for in today's show, brought to you by Optus.
Next week, can Don Pike match it with a former world champion?
Remember to keep an eye on @The Crows Show on Twitter for all the latest news.
Also, check out the club's social media platforms, Facebook and Instagram.
Thanks for your company, and we look forward to joining you again next Sunday.
Yes, at 11:30 on 7. We'll see you then.
Bye for now.